9 News Plus weather, sponsored by Carrier Colorado. The future of home comfort is here.
Happy chilly Monday to you. I'm 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi with an update on your Colorado weather forecast, which for now on the dangerously cold side. Good news is we're almost there here, folks. Really today, the last day of this kind of end-to-end brutal cold, and then things start getting a lot better starting tomorrow, mid to late mornings, when things should start to gradually get a bit on the better side. Meantime, if you want to go ahead and have some fun, and also, fun fact, warm on up, go here. And yes, I know that's a ski resort. That's actually Loveland Ski Area, looking on the other side from the Eisenhower Tunnel. And if you're going up to the high country today, first of all, well, that looks like some fresh powder and that looks like fun, but also it is much warmer into the higher terrain today compared to the Denver area, and I'll explain why here in just a second. But here in Denver, it continues to look like, I don't know, what is this, Detroit, Cleveland? It's been looking like this for the last month or so here along the Front Range, those kind of low gray skies and those very chilly temperatures. And we've got one more day of this to go before we finally start to return to our regularly scheduled nicer weather. But today, bitterly cold. Just stay inside here, folks. Today, one of those days you want to just, I don't know, have some hot soup, stay inside, and just hang out by the fire. Then tonight, some light snow redevelops for us here in the Denver area, maybe even starting to see some signs of it right now, and is much better for our day tomorrow. Wind chill advisory until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for us along the basically entire eastern part of the state of Colorado, including the Front Range. And wind chill values could drop as low as -25 here on the eastern plains. Folks, when we're talking about temperatures this cold, that means any exposed skin, it will only take about 10 to 15 minutes for any exposed skin to develop frostbite. So again, limit that time outdoors. Wind chills is what you're actually feeling on your skin right now. -15 currently out at DIA, -10 in Colorado Springs, -15 Lyman. Again, mountains much warmer, and I'll have more on that here in just a second. Temperatures, these are the actual air temperatures, not factoring the wind. -3 in Denver, 3 in Colorado Springs, and 9 in Ray. Below zero still in Lyman at -1, but notice Leadville, 19 degrees, so it's 22 degrees warmer in Leadville compared to Denver, despite the fact that Leadville is over 10,000 feet in elevation. Reason being, this very cold, dense air mass cannot travel up into the mountains, so it originates north and east of us, and that cold, dense air mass cannot make it over the mountains. So that's why places like Denver and Colorado Springs are so much colder than the mountains, despite the fact that, of course, it's much higher elevation into the high country. So for today, temperatures only topping out in the single digits for us here along the Front Range. Sub-zero wind chills, and by the way, here, folks, if it stays cloudy, that 8-degree temperature may be too high. I wonder if we're going to have to knock this back down to 5 or 6 degrees. If we stay with a high temperature of 6 degrees or lower in Denver today, this would make it our coldest January day since 1997. So this is pretty unusually cold for us, even for this time of year, but continues what's been a chilly, cloudy, snowy month for us, and that continues on this Monday. So forecast highs for today, single digits, teens, eastern plains, teens, 20s, and even some 30s for us into the high country. As I mentioned, that cold, dense air mass cannot make it up into the mountains. You've got a natural wall, basically, is the way to think of it, for us in those mountains, and that's why the high country on the warmer side compared to the front range. Still looking at some snow for us. Winter weather advisory for parts of Larimer and Weld counties until noon. An additional 2 to 8 inches worth of snow. We've got a narrow band that's leading to that winter weather advisory. The mountains, though, in some cases as much as 16 inches worth of snowfall for us into the higher terrain. Most of that coming for a day today. We're looking at avalanche warning for us here into the parks in the Elkhead Mountains of northwest Colorado, including the area around Steamboat Springs. Folks, avoid the backcountry, and by the way, that will continue for the next little while for us here across the higher terrain with all this recent snowfall. We do have some higher than usual avalanche concerns for us here into the high country. I would avoid the backcountry for the next few days. So, forecast here, or I should say HD Doppler radar, showing some of that snow, a narrow band of snow sitting on up between Denver and Fort Collins. This is the one that prompted that winter weather advisory, and seeing some regularly scheduled snow for us here into the high country. But from about Longmont north and east to Greeley, Highway 34, that's where we've seen a good 2 to 3 inches of snow this morning alone. And again, this may be 10-mile wide band or so of snowfall that's slowly sagging south into the Denver area. Boulder, Broomfield, starting to see some snow out here as well. And Longmont's been seeing that snow much of this morning. Denver, along and south of I-70, we're mostly snow-free, but that snow will move its way in our direction later on this afternoon. Into the mountains, the San Juans, the Elkheads, as well as down through the Flat Tops, the West Elks, the Sawatch Mountain Ranges, all seeing some of that snowfall right now with that southwest flow fairly persistent at this point. So for this afternoon, that snow gradually budges south as we head through the day. So we'll kind of concentrate more of that snow into the San Juans, the West Elks, as well as down into even the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, seeing some of that snowfall later on tonight and early tomorrow morning. The Wet Mountains seeing some of that snowfall as well before things finally fizzle on out. By tomorrow morning, we should see the sun come back out after a long, long break from that sunshine. Closer look in here at the Front Range, I would anticipate an inch or dusting to maybe an inch of snow this afternoon during that evening commute. So just be ready for an unfortunately kind of slick commute for us along the urban corridor for this afternoon and early this evening. We'll see that snow redevelop between about 3 and 6 this afternoon, maybe even a tad earlier than that. This band reaches us a bit earlier. And then by tomorrow, we'll see that sun come back out, and we'll be done with the snow for the foreseeable future. Snowfall forecast, again, for us here in Denver, looking at another maybe dusting to inch of snow on top of what we've already seen. By the way, we're at 36 inches of season-to-date snowfall already for us here in Denver, so we're well above the season-to-date average with over a foot of snow so far this January. Into the mountains, another good 2 to 4 inches of snow, fairly widespread on top of what we've already seen. In some cases, more than 6 inches of additional snowfall still to go. Once again, here in the Front Range, another dusting to inch or so of snow for us on its way for the afternoon and early this evening. Then we'll see that snow die back down by about midnight at the latest. Most of that snowfall done by about 8, 9 o'clock across the urban corridor. Tomorrow, we'll see maybe some morning clouds. It will be chilly to start tomorrow. We'll probably be talking about some sub-zero low temperatures tomorrow morning, but we will see the sun come back out, and it will warm us on up to about 33 degrees. That will feel like Maui compared to what we've been talking about today and yesterday. So if you're tired of this cold, really just nasty cold weather, don't worry. It gets a lot better tomorrow, and then it will stay on the nicer side of things. We're talking about 40s for the next little while. So for tomorrow, hey, this is still 10 to 15 degrees below average when we're talking about these highs in the 20s and 30s for us across eastern Colorado. But this is a lot better than where we've been. Yesterday, we did not get out of the single digits here in Denver. Today, we're struggling to even crack 0 degrees right now at the airport downtown, 1, 2 degrees right now. So very, very dangerously cold today. Tomorrow, again, not dangerously cold, at least compared to what we would expect here along the urban corridor. 7-day forecast, talking about a high near 40 on your Wednesday. And look at that, by Friday, that is going to feel like Cancun, 46 degrees for us here come Friday afternoon. That is going to be great. And notice one thing we don't have in the forecast, snow and sub-zero temperatures. So that is something we can all celebrate, right? Yeah, we're all excited about that. One thing we're not probably excited about, 40 straight hours with below zero wind chill at the airport. 7 p.m. Saturday until 11 a.m. until right now for us here in Denver. So it has been cold for a long stretch, and it's not only just with the last 40 hours. This is going to probably end up being a top 20 coldest January on record for us here in Denver. We're at an average month-to-date temperature of 26.6 degrees. That's more than 5 degrees below our month-to-date average. So it has been a very cold, I mentioned very snowy January for us, with over a foot of snow so far this month. We've got a bit more to go later on this evening before things finally quiet on down as we start things off here in the month of February. It looks a lot more seasonal, with temperatures in the low to mid 40s for most of the rest of the week and lots of sunshine. So good news all around once we get past today. But again, here folks, today dangerously cold, perhaps our coldest January day since 1997. So not just an average cold winter day. It's pretty darn cold out there, and stay indoors while you can. Once again, I'm 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Meteorologist Keely Chalmers will have an update for you coming up at 9 News at noon and here on 9 News Plus at 2 o'clock. Then Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin's in at 4 and 5 today. And then Meteorologist Lauren Robinson is in at 6, 9, and 10 tonight on the 9 News Family Network. So once again, I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and have a great and rest of your Monday, and stay warm.